by Mr. Kana from the SMU Debating Society, and then Mr. Daniel Padang from the SMU Residence at Princeps Street Hostel, and then Ms. Claire Shen from the SMU Campus Crusade for Christ. They will take turns to come forward to share some of their thoughts and reflection about Rajan. And later we will open up this time to the rest of you who might feel that you would like to share some of your memories with us. As you come forward, do be careful of the wires over here, do not trip. Sorry. So, Mr.
Good evening, and to Rajan's family, my condolences. First of all, wow, seeing a room like this full of people, it really says something about Rajan's life. And I know not everybody that was impacted by him is here, and so this is a real testimony to his life. I first met Rajan in his first year here at SMU. He was a student of mine in a management communication course. And he's one of those that you can't forget when he's in your class. And that was just how he was. And so from the very first, I think the other reason he stood out to me in terms of different students I've had is because I used to live in USJ3 in Subang Jaya. And so that was our other connecting point. In fact, you know how when you first hear the news, and when I first heard about Rajan passing away, that the first thing I did is I have a wallet that I use when I travel to Malaysia with my Malaysian currency in it, and I opened it up, and Rajan's mobile number was in there because we had made an agreement that we'd try to meet up one day when I was there, when he was there, but it seemed like we were never there at the same time. But one thing that, when I first became a parent, people told me that when you raise your kids, it's one thing if you enjoy your own children, but really the goal in parenting is to raise your children in a way that other people enjoy them. And that's when you know you've done well. And I think, again, as I look around this room and the number of people are here, is that you can take great comfort in the fact that Rajan was one of those people who just brought a lot of enjoyment to a lot of other people's lives. And that's one of the ways in which he blessed me. After he was in my class, we did stay in touch from time to time. And I guess as this evening, as I was thinking about Rajan and just the enjoyment and so forth that he brought me personally and the rest of us, I was thinking that sometimes, you know, when things like this happen, and I think the first speaker said it very well, there's a mystery. We wrestle and we ask why. Why did this happen? And why Rajan? Because he was just 23 and he had so much ahead of him and so forth. And there are no easy answers, I know that. My first year in university, a very good friend of mine died in a car accident as well. And we had talked about our futures, we had talked about what we were going to do with our lives, we had shared many different things with one another. But it was one of those moments where, why him? Why am I still here? That's many years ago. I don't have the answer to that question still. But the one thing I want to share with all of you that are here, especially those of you that are his peers, his fellow students and so forth, is that, Rajan, if he were here today and with us, the one thing I think he would be saying to us is, hey, don't worry about me. I'm okay. If you know anything about the Christian faith at all, the one thing that Rajan had was this assurance of where he was going to go once he left this earth. And I'm sure that he's enjoying himself right now. But for the rest of us, I think it's a good moment just to reflect and say, okay, why am I still here? What is my life to be about? And when I lost this friend of mine in university, that's what happened for me. I basically gave a lot of thought to where I wanted to go next and what I wanted to be with my life. And it was a very powerful moment, and I'm thankful in a way for the loss of that friend because it really helped me make some really good decisions about my life and how I was going to live it. And I trust that because of Rajan's impact, his presence, and how he touched each of our lives, that too will be one of the things that will come out of this very sad time for us, is that we'll take note of our lives, make some changes, and do better with what we've been given as well. And so that's just what I wanted to share with you today. And so again, to the parents, take comfort. He was a wonderful guy and just really blessed our lives in many different ways.
Good evening, everyone. I was Rajan's peer, I was Rajan's friend, and I was Rajan's senior at SMU Debating Society. And I frequently called all my juniors minions, and Rajan is by far my favorite one of all. So it's hard not to have him here right now. I'm not a religious person, I'm an atheist, and for me there's no solace in a God that I can find, and I can't take comfort in that. But the truth is that I don't want to. Rajan is gone right now, and I feel sad, and when I found out, I was floored, and I couldn't think straight for 2 days. And even now, it's difficult. And to those of you, and I know many who shared that with me, that's okay. And the reason that's okay is because Rajan was that good a person. That not having him in my life, in your lives, in our lives anymore hurts that much. And I don't wish that hurt to be taken away quite so easily, because it is a reminder to me about how deeply he will be missed. I'd like to share some parts of his life with all of you that maybe everyone was not aware about or knew about. And in doing so, I'd like to also offer a couple of ways where both me and SMU Debating Society as a whole would like to help us all in remembering him. Because I don't think that he should very easily be forgotten. I don't want to forget him myself. Bapa, as we had christened him, was always around. You couldn't miss him in person. He was quite large, and he'd bumble down, and he'd always be in his, red hoodie, which I'm sure you've seen in the photos, which led us to the other nickname that we gave him, which was Pooh Bear. He was online practically all the time. You could always chat with him. He'd always have something to say. He'd always have something to share with you. And whenever you bugged him, he'd unfailingly respond. He was on Facebook. He was always there. That's something we should remember about him, because it's not often that you find someone who's just so willing and so able to share so much of themselves. And it didn't matter what it was about, whether it was a new place to eat, or to discuss politics, Malaysia, Singapore, international, or just make me and your mom jokes, which he did quite frequently as well. He was always around to share with you. But to say that, he was just around is not enough, because he was especially there when you needed him. He was especially there when I needed him. When I was going through some of the hardest times of my life earlier this year, he was there as a friend with me. He was there whenever I bugged him to talk to online. He was there to share a meal with me when I was down. He was there on my birthday as well, when not too many other people were, because a lot of my friends were out of town. And I don't think I thanked him enough for that. I'd like to thank him now again. Thank you, Papa. But to say that Rajan's greatest quality was simply his larger-than-life presence is to do him a great disservice. Rajan was simply one of this university's and one of the people, in terms of people I've met, greatest characters. He was passionate in ways that many of us can only hope to be, about every single thing that mattered to him in his life. He could talk to you at length about a whole bunch of topics, whether it was about libertarianism, which is something, political philosophy I shared with him. He would put up with my nastiest attacks about his beliefs and his faith, and he loved his food. He loved his food very much, and he could talk about that also at length, and even more than some of the more serious things we shared. But this was a man who took food seriously, and that's what made him a man after my own heart, or stomach. For the two of us, the two were largely interchangeable. But his passion was tempered by two things. The first was patience. especially for annoying pontificate